Welcome to the Smart Chiropractor Season 2. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Jason Deitch. Every week in 30 minutes or less, we break down the mindset and strategies you need to build and grow. If you want to catch up with any previous episodes or check out all of the reports, templates, and guides that we have put together for you, please visit thesmartchiropractor.com. This is episode 2 of Season 2, and today we're talking about thinking smart. Not like Amazon or Shopify, but like a smart chiropractor. And let's pick it up right there, Jason. How can a doc think smart when we're talking about product sales and e-commerce? Where do we start sorting through this stuff?
You know, I think it starts with understanding that we serve our patients best when we really help them implement the lifestyle recommendations we hope for them. You know, many of us as chiropractors think of ourselves as more lifestyle doctors than technicians. We're not just a natural pain reliever. People come to us in many cases, whether we like it or not, with questions about how they can not only feel better, but how they can function better and perform better in their lives. Now, we know there's a spectrum of chiropractors out there. You and I are on that spectrum with everybody else listening. There are those that on one end think that they can do anything and everything a doctor should do, in some cases pushing to even prescribe drugs. Others say, well, everything but drugs. On the other side of the spectrum, it's, I'm going to do nothing but adjust. And if I didn't have to talk to anybody, I wouldn't do that either. So there's a spectrum. Let's just acknowledge that whole part of things. I think being smart in today's world means that several things. One, we are in a consumer-driven world. All right, there are, the idea of direct to consumer is the trend in all business. Amazon is direct to consumer. All the pharmaceutical ads on television promoting a product you can't buy anywhere unless it's prescribed is still direct to consumer messaging. Multi-billion-dollar brands we've been talking about that came from nowhere and now dominate the landscape in everything from, soap to razor blades to vitamins. They're all direct-to-consumer brands. Hair coloring, we've seen it all, right? Direct-to-consumer. So being a smart chiropractor, one, means being efficient with your time. It means focusing on being consumer-directed, okay? And it means let's look at the trends going on in the world. Like when we want to buy something, what do? We either go to a big box retailer locally, like a Walmart or a Target, or we go to Amazon online, or we go directly to the product. Now, you put all those pieces together, and what I would say is if chiropractors don't start doing things differently, we're not that smart. And what I mean by that is what we're seeing as a trend is that people are spending billions of dollars, sometimes trillions, you could say, on health-oriented products that relate to lifestyle recommendations many of us as chiropractors are making. And by not going, not even the extra mile, but I'll call it the extra inch to now, and I say that because of technology, to be able to just go that next step and say, listen, not only, here's the answer to your question, Mrs. Jones, and here is the solution you're asking for, Mrs. Jones, and this is my favorite one at the best price available or at a reasonable price that we've been able to negotiate for you or get for you. To me, those are the trends that consumers are looking for from their doctors or from the companies that they work with, that now, thanks to technology, we can be smart as a collective profession and really start filling I'll call it the lifestyle-oriented role to some degree of what a pharmacist does, right? They deliver or dispense things that people perceive are going to help them with their health. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying that's what's happening. We can and should be what I think of as sort of lifestyle concierge coordinator to help direct people to the people, places, and products and knowledge they need to live their ultimate lifestyle. And now with the pandemic, plague, COVID, call it what you want, people theoretically are more concerned about their health than they've ever been. They can see the risks of not taking care of themselves or having a comorbidity now more than ever before. I believe it's a tremendous opportunity for our profession to just start making some adjustments to how we think, making some adjustments to what we do, and really embracing technology as a way to be a better service to our communities. And not only will we make more money, I think the major point is that people are going to start looking at us differently. And I mean in a more positive way, that we're not just technicians. Oh, can you lay down and crack my neck? You know, can you help? But we'll see us as the experts many of us really are, and want to be perceived as. So that to me is what, being a smart chiropractor in today's day and age is all about. And I'll sort of summarize by saying, in all of that, the difference between an Amazon or a Walmart or a Target is basically people go to those places because they have access to every option. And I think that the opportunity for us as chiropractors specifically, any health professional, but us specifically, is to do the exact opposite. And not say that we have every option you could possibly want to explore, but we only have the options we actually think are best and endorse and recommend. We call them our favorite things. So for chiropractors to now start saying, hey, listen, if you want to know about my favorite things, my favorite nutritional supplements, my favorite exercise tools, home exercise equipment, my favorite books, my favorite trainings, my favorite fill in the blank, you could head on over to our e-commerce store, to our smart store, we call it. Smart meaning that it's curated, right? It's not just we got a good deal on this lot and so we're going to sell them cheap. It's these are my favorite ones. And when people ask me what's my favorite fill in the blank, I can now serve them not only the answer, but a great price and the convenience of being able to drop ship it to their door or get it the next time they come into the practice. That to me is what smart looks like from here on in the future.
There's so much about it that's leverage, and it's leveraging your expertise. It's leveraging the audience you've built. As we talked about in season 1, when we talked all through really automating content marketing, it's about building and growing that health tribe, getting people to know, trust, and like you. And you do that consistently by teaching and inviting consistently. You teach by entertaining and engaging. You invite. In the marketing world, we'll call that a call to action, right? You invite somebody to take the next step, and you do it day in and day out. And eventually you build and curate your own health tribe of people. A certain subset of those individuals are going to become patients, and a subset of those are your most loyal referring patients. But everybody within that group is certainly looking to you for some benefit that you can talk about and deliver. Whether or not they're ready to go and get the adjustment you deliver is one thing, but leveraging not only the skill and the expertise that you have as a doc, but leveraging the time and the attention that it's gone into audience building. This is really where it all comes together when you have the opportunity. I can speak for myself. The first time I remember still, the first time that I ever had, woke up and looked in my email and saw that a transaction had occurred and revenue was created, and it wasn't on the sweat of my brow, so to speak, over the table. That's a really revolutionary approach to things. But the smart component of it that you touched on that I think is so critically important for docs to understand is it's not about hawking goods. It's about curating a selection of things you would recommend or are asked about anyway, and then systematizing how you promote those items to the people within your health tribe, the people who know, trust, and like you. And at that point, you kind of just look at it and there's just some math that goes on where a certain inevitable amount are going to say, hey, I've been looking for that. I thought about looking for that. This is something
I'm buying those anyway.
Exactly. All of those things are so critically important. And some of this also comes into sort of what we touched upon in episode 1 of this season, and we're going to dive into further in subsequent episodes, are these subscription and recurring based products where you can start really compounding your revenue in a way that makes sense, that serves your people, and ultimately is brand building in terms of people becoming more accustomed to who you are, what you stand for, and the things that you believe in.
Jeff, I want to really highlight what you said in the beginning here just a moment ago, and it's another extension or explanation of SMART. And you felt it, I felt it, and I invite any chiropractor listening to feel it. And that is that feeling that you can earn money you can earn money in ways other than being over a table, okay? Whether it's doing an exam and evaluation or doing an adjustment. Most chiropractors have one source of revenue, and that is when I am working, and when I get paid for that. In some cases, who have to wait then for insurance reimbursement. And that's their, I'm going to say, risky sole source of revenue. And so just being a human being in today's unpredictable world, having multiple sources of revenue, which doesn't mean, oh, I'll go invest in real estate or, horses or, racing or some multi-level marketing. So we're not talking about doing something different. We're talking about a different way to generate revenue over the weekend, while you're sleeping, early in the morning, late at night, that doesn't require you to physically have to talk and use your hands in that moment. That's a really exciting, and I'll dare say smart, that's an exciting feeling and a smart thing to do. And that's really what this is all about, is it's smart for people because they're not looking for a vitamin, they're looking for your favorite vitamin. They're not looking for something to do at home for exercise, they're looking for what you think they should be doing at home for exercise. That's the difference. And we just haven't gone, Dr. Sid, one of my mentors, used to always say there's never any traffic on the extra mile. With technology, I'm sort of saying there's no traffic on the extra, inch to, half a foot. It just doesn't have to take that much to be able to provide these types of things these days. It is a consciousness shift. I dare say it's about getting smarter. Smarter in terms of more efficient, smarter in terms of saying yes to opportunities to generate revenue that are perfectly in line with what you're already doing, with the people you're already doing it with. And that's just, I don't know how else to say it over and over again, but that's just smart business, that's smart doctoring, and it's smart customer service, because that is what people want from you. And I know you can extrapolate that out. I know there's chiropractors who go, well, my patients want me to wash their car too. I'm not going to do that. Okay, well, that's sort of outside the boundary of here's the supplement I recommend, here's the exercise I recommend. It relates to their lifestyle, it relates to their expectation of what it is that you would do, and it keeps you sort of on brand. If anything, I would argue it expands many of us from just being a pain fixer, right? A human aspirin. Which unfortunately is what a lot of people limit us to, individually and collectively. Like, oh yeah, when I'm hurt, I'll call you, but what I need is advice. And we just haven't been playing that game very well. There's been a lot of infighting for those that do it versus those that don't, and all that stuff that goes on. The reasons for the fighting are logical. However, I don't think there's any argument anymore. Because technology facilitates all of this, because it's not just about having an e-commerce store that you have to do a lot of work and hopefully make a little money, you can now have an online our favorite things solution that's hassle-free and profitable. I think the debate is over. If it took a lot of time for a doctor to not be teaching about chiropractic and not be adjusting to do what I'm saying, I wouldn't be saying it. But because in some cases it can be 100% automated, in other cases it can be mostly automated, it's just a smart thing to add in terms of adding value to the people who come to see you anyway. As you say, leveraging your health tribe, leveraging your patient base, and also opening the door to much of your community who may initially go, oh, I don't need a chiropractor, but I could use to lose a few pounds. And if you can teach me that and I'm listening and I like you, I may be curious as to what else you can offer me. So for just lots of reasons, it's smart.
There's no question. And when we look at 2021 as we roll through, I think it's unbelievably attainable for a doc to be able to generate 10% of their revenue overall of their clinic online by the end of this year, maybe 20%. And I don't think it's a jump to say, with some adaptation, with a little bit of work, that couldn't be even higher. And we discussed it loosely in episode number 1, but I think it's also important for docs to understand this is about safety, it's about diversification, it's about serving, and it also is about really strengthening what you've put blood, sweat, and tears into. We go through chiropractic school, take on these incredible amounts of debt, and we learn so much throughout that process. And then we go into practice, and you have your lease, and you have your staff, and there's all of these things that are the overhead of running a practice that are real, and it's just a real part of running a chiropractic practice. But that doesn't mean that you only have to be limited to that. And again, I think no matter what type of chiropractor you are, whether you are a rehab-based doc, whether you're a subluxation-based practice, whether you're a technique-based practice, whether you're a sports performance practice, there's no question that we are all asked time and time again, what is your favorite blank? Now, the blank might be different depending upon your practice and your clientele and your health tribe, but there is absolutely no way, it should be no question that you're not able to answer that cleanly, clearly, and directly by directing those individuals to your online store, which houses your favorite things. And furthermore, that's actually a reactive way to go about it, where we're going throughout all this season is touching on that, but also the proactive way, where it's about utilizing the social channels that we discussed in season number 1, your social media platforms, your email, your in-office screens, text-based as we continue to evolve and grow in the future. Being able to use all of those platforms and touch points to connect with people and showcase your favorite things, not only as a reaction, but as proactively addressing it. And I think both of us have seen and believe this deepens the patient-doctor bond throughout time.
It's exactly what it does. We started the Smart Chiropractor, again, for those that don't know, we automate your social media, we automate your email campaigns, we automate the streaming content to your in-office videos, we automate your weekly newsletters. We basically create beautifully designed, research-based messaging, a different campaign every month, a different topic every week, and a different post every day, and adding and here's a product that aligns with this topic fits like hand in glove. It's just the right, 2 steps. Step 1, step 2. It just follows perfectly. And you mentioned this again, I could just want to highlight it as well, that it's very, what I'll just call non-denominational, right? If you are a subluxation based chiropractor like I think of myself as, then I say to myself when I'm thinking about this, well, I'm not looking to treat symptoms with products, supplements, and so on. You don't have to. You can recommend your favorite things to stay aligned with whatever philosophy you have. On the other end of the spectrum, there's people that go, this is exactly what I do. I treat symptoms, that's what I do. I adjust, and there are other things I like to recommend, but it's so difficult. I typically send them to Amazon, and maybe if you're in the best of cases, you created some Amazon affiliate link so you get like 0.5% of anything that's sold. At least it's the right idea and it's smart, and there's a reason to go drive people there, and it's worth your time is the point. It's not that you're gonna make a killing, but it's gotta be worth your time. You can't lose money doing it, okay? It takes time, time's money. So you make it smart, but it's really important, I think, for people to hear that wherever you are in the philosophical spectrum, unless you are at the sort of one place where the only thing you're willing to do is adjust, and I sort of don't joke and not talk to people, because when you're talking to people, you're doing more than adjusting a subluxation, which is the argument, right? It's just sort of ironic, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but those same chiropractors will oftentimes make recommendations about vaccines or not, or make recommendations about sleep or exercise or even attitude or whatever it may be. Those are all outside of correcting subluxation. So it tends to be somewhat of a hypocritical argument of sorts. I'm happy to have the debate when anybody wants to have it. The point is that in smart chiropractors are understanding people's needs. Okay? Not your needs, their needs. And I think we're at our best when we serve people based on their needs, not ours. And ours being our ego, our desperation or need for money. When we focus on our needs, we're going to always lose compared to focusing on their needs. They need the knowledge, they need the inspiration and guidance, and they need the service and the products that are going to help them live their ultimate lifestyle. I don't know why we don't get the credit, let alone profit, for being the ones to recommend this. Most of us are all geeked out on finding out the best things for ourselves. Why hoard that information and not share it? And if you're going to share the information, you might as well share the link to the solution that your information is driving them to. Not that hard to figure out anymore.
Let me ask you a question, because I think that a lot of docs listening to this are probably jazzed on the idea, right? It's a big vision, it's a big opportunity, but they also probably can turn their heads around and look at a shelf full of supplements that has dust on it, that they bought all this inventory, or who knows what it is. We all have the closet graveyard of products never sold, right? And that's a real issue, right? We notice that there's, of all the docs that take on inventory and sell products in their practice, maybe 10% really do it at the level that it produces serious income, and 90% kind of end up again with a graveyard of products that are dusty, and it's like they just never can get it to work. When we're discussing e-commerce and a doc saying, oh, I like this idea, but I might have heard this before and I got all these dusty products behind me, what's the difference between what we're discussing in the e-commerce realm and the product sales at that time of service in the practice?
It's exactly the right question. I've been into hundreds, if not thousands, of chiropractors' offices, and just about every single one has, boxes of pillows on the floor, next to their adjusting tables or stacked up somewhere. There was no course in chiropractic school in product merchandising, in creating displays and making things look nice, right? They tend to be a commodity for us. And so most aren't very successful doing it that way. You're 100% right. And again, it costs money, costs time, it's not profitable. People go, let's throw the baby out with the bathwater, let's not do this. The two words that I will say describe the difference are hassle-free. Okay? That the only way this really makes sense in today's day and age for most, all right? I know there's exceptions. If you've got a lot of staff, if you've got an office manager, if you're really technically good or passionate about something, maybe you're an inventor of a product yourself, and you really like to focus on it, those are the exceptions, not the rule. The rule is most chiropractors struggle enough to get people to buy their primary service. And anything you try to teach outside of that is a distraction from accomplishing your primary goal, which is to get them to understand why getting adjusted and staying well adjusted, staying well aligned, is the thing they should be investing their time, money, and energy into. So that is a great argument. However, hassle-free is exactly that. You don't have to order inventory. Whatever somebody buys, they buy from your store, and it gets either shipped to their house or shipped to the practice, so on their next visit they can pick it up. Hassle-free, okay? And in the technology setup, right? So there's, well, what technology do I use? What products do I sell? How do I make sure I'm paying my taxes and sales tax and all those things and all the work it takes to do this thing? Hassle-free means that's all done for you, okay? So the technology's done for you. The selection of products, all you've got to do is just go favorite, 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 and it's done for you. Right? Yes, the work is in knowing your favorite things. Then there is all the sort of administration, taxes, and all that stuff. Hassle-free, done for you. And then there's the promotion of the products, right? Well, I don't want all these things just to sit there. They're not going to move by themselves. Well, they kind of are. Because if doctors are doing their first job, which is to build, as you mentioned, their health tribe, and that's what our Smart Chiropractor clients are doing, is they outsource to us the automation of social media, email, in-office video, handouts, all those things, to teach them about a particular health concern or topic that relates to why getting adjusted or staying aligned is the right thing to do for that concern, to call it creep or open up the, in addition to getting adjusted, here are some things you may want to learn. Here are some products that may be helpful, to just simply add those things with no effort because it's done for you by doctors who know what you know and maybe a few more things too and want to do it for you. That changes the whole work, profitable, stress equation. And ultimately, I don't know how else to say it, but call it hassle-free. If you can, sign up for, something online. If you could buy something on Amazon, you could set up a store. Yep. Okay. If you can look at a picture and go, I like that, I like that, I like that, I like that, you can set up a store. If you have a bank account and you know your account number, you can set up a store. That's about how hard it is. The rest of the sort of heavy lifting, you can think of having an entourage behind you, where all you got to do is look good and keep on talking to your, people, and we'll handle all the rest. That's really the difference. The idea is not a new idea in concept, but what makes it new now is the fact that technology is now caught up to us, that we can automate so it's legal to have your own store, process the payments, and not have to order product, inventory product, not have to do customer service, not have to do shipping, not have to do the time-consuming, exhausting, low-profit, high-cost in terms of labor work it takes to actually pull this off. Those the math doesn't add up the way it used to, the way it does now. Now it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's you really, as a doc in today's day and age, as a chiropractor, you can have all the benefits of actually being a direct-to-consumer brand because you are, without any of the inventory and headaches. I think that's really where a great place to wrap up this episode and really tease into where we're going throughout this season, which is, again, going to be talking more about automated product sales, the marketing platforms that docs can think about. How do you stock a store with those products? How do you promote it consistently? That's what we're going to touch on our follow-up episodes. If you've been listening and you have not yet subscribed to this podcast, be sure to do so. We have episodes coming out each and every week, and season 2 is devoted to automated product sales. We're going to continue to break it down, have fun with it, and give you the information you need to build and grow in 2021. For my co-host, Dr. Jason Deitch, I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
This episode brought to you by The Smart Chiropractor. At The Smart Chiropractor, we solve the two biggest chiropractic marketing challenges, content and consistency. We combine an incredible content library with powerful automation tools to supercharge your marketing. The result? More new patients, more referrals, and more reactivations with automated digital content marketing. Here's what Dr. Mike Marino had to say. The Smart Chiropractor's content, auto posting, and other tools is simply the best ROI I have seen in 20 years of practice. To learn more and get started, visit thesmartchiropractor.com today.